Hello everyone and welcome to my LEGO Star Wars Outpost Defense mock. So this is a mock that I've been working on for the past several months and it is finally done. It is done in a 3x2 48x48 baseplate configuration. I am so proud of this mock and everything that went into it. Yeah, I think it really looks nice, and there are 14 updates that keep track of my progress along the way, and they are all on the channel, so go ahead and check those out. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the droid forces who are marching toward the base through the forest. These angles give you a really good view of the foliage that sit underneath the trees. Over here, there is a field that is situated on a large hill, and over the hill is a vulture droid that is flying toward the base. As you can see, the main extent of the droid forces is marching through this grove of trees, over the field, and then toward this area here where they are battling the clone troopers. There's a downed tree over here which gives the droids a little bit of cover, and ultimately that helps them drive back the clone forces. There's a lot of clumps of dense foliage on this section of the mock, as well as some clearings. Here's a cool view of the river snaking through the mock, as well as the cliffs that elevate the clone base. As you can see, the mock is made up of two separate rivers that converge at this specific spot. Okay, I think that about does it for this half of the forest of the mock, so I think we're going to pan over here and take a look at this side of the battle. Just like on the left side of the mock, there's a lot of droids that are advancing toward the clone forces through the forest. There are several good angles of that here, and just the sheer number of droids is going to start overwhelming the clone troops. I use very similar techniques on this side of the mock as well, as far as doing the dirt and ground, landscape, bushes, and foliage, etc. All of these dark tan pieces come together to represent a rut that goes through this part of the mock. As you can see, this is a very large part of the battle, as there's so many clones and droids that are just dueling here. Also, the openness on this side of the mock creates a really cool open battle effect. Overall, I think this definitely is one of my favorite areas of the mock. Getting into the clone forces on this side of the mock, you've got lots of troops that are hiding behind bushes and using these clearings as pathways to get up to the front lines. There are several clones who are just arriving at the battle scene now. And with that, I think I'm about done with looking at the outside and the terrain of the mock, the battle scene itself, so we can kind of take a look at the exterior here. As you can see, I've got a lot of windows that wrap around the base. There are these large curved glass windows, as well as these windows modeled after the windows in a bridge of a Star Destroyer. Windows provide an excellent view into the base. Cutting over here, you can see that there is another smaller force of clones that are exiting from this entryway into the base, and they actually have a cannon to help repel the droids. This angle also gives a good view of the wall techniques I used on the side of the base, such as these light bluish gray detail pieces. Now that I'm about finished taking a look at the exterior of the base, we can move on up to the roof. As you can see, the roof is composed of light bluish gray plates, and it also has a lot of greebling on it that provides detail. There's a lot of detail in these greebling panels here, as well as some ductwork behind that. Here's the structure located on the second level of the base, and it looks pretty nice, has some minimal detailing as well as some stuff on the roof, including this lookout tower here that scans the battlefield. Also coming down here, it has another greebling panel, and moving over here, it has a radio dish for communications. Here's the entrance to the elevator that gives the figures access to this roof level, and over here is the landing pad, and on that landing pad sits Anakin's Jedi Interceptor. Both the Vulture Droid and Anakin's Interceptor are custom builds courtesy of Brick Vault. Now if I remove the ship, you can see that the landing pad itself is made using the snot technique. I made sure to include lots of detail pieces around the landing pad, like these bins and these antennae over here. And with that, we can transition over to the communications platform. And under this communications platform sits the battery pack that operates the elevator. I'll get to that a bit later though. But on top of the platform itself, it has a little work table and lots of controls for the communications aspect of this outpost. Now, if I reach back here to this box, there is a switch that I built in to operate the battery pack, which controls the elevator, and all I have to do is turn it like this. Here's a good view of inside the second level building, and you can see the elevator as well as the gearbox that operates it. The elevator was definitely one of the more complex aspects of this build, but as you can see from this angle, I think it turned out really nicely since it looks really cool from this front angle. Now I'm going to start removing the roof panels to get into the interior of the build, and they are modular as you can see, so they just come off one by one like so. The removability aspect of it is achieved using tiles on the top of the walls. The roof of the second level is also removable to access the elevator. Now taking a look at the interior, there's this large L-shaped corridor that leads out to the exterior of the Mach, and alongside it is actually some weapons racks for the troops to get their weapons before heading out into battle. This next larger room over is actually the clone bunk room, and it has this large unit of bunk beds that pull out of this wall segment here. And as you can see, this section is actually functional. You may have noticed some segments of greebling that line the top of the walls in this room, and I think that looks really nice. Also over here, there is a helmet rack for the clone troopers to hold their helmets. Moving out of the barracks room and down the hall, you get to the main room in the first floor of the base, and that is the control room / war room. This room is by far my personal favorite room in the base, as it has a lot of detail, and also the windows that line it are really cool, and they provide an excellent view from the exterior of the base as well. Speaking of the exterior of the base, earlier you may have noticed a pair of cannons that line the exterior, and here they are controlled from the inside here. There are a number of control stations in this room of the base, including the two on the back wall, as well as this one here. This is the central command area in the base, and it's operated by this green ARC trooper, who is definitely one of the coolest figures in my collection. I have a second one in this room as well. Here's a closer look at one of those command stations, as well as a gun emplacement over here. And that about sums up the interior of the base. I sincerely hope that you guys enjoyed watching this in-depth overview of my Mach that I've been working on for the past couple of months. I mean, it really looks great. I couldn't have asked for anything better. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, and also take a look at some other videos on my channel. Thank you so much for watching.